Welcome back to our little handmade home. My name is Tanya and I'm the creator and founder of this channel where we like to help you turn any house into a home, one handmade project at a time. Today we're revisiting an old favorite, which is the simple table runner. It's been renamed to the brick path table runner, but the elements stay the same. And today we're going to talk about how to make this quick and easy runner in just an afternoon to refresh any decor. Let's get started. Table runner, we are going to be following this pattern that I have created for you, which you can get for free on my website. I will leave a link below and we're just going to dive right in. The instructions for the pattern are also included on the website. These are free. Now there is a paid version of this pattern as well that is available, and there is a link in the post. But everything that you need to make this table runner is here. As you can see, I have my 3 fabrics layered together. I think these fall colors are going to be really gorgeous together. And what I've done is gone ahead and squared up my edges on the right side. Using the instructions found on either the website or within the paid version of this pattern, I'm starting by cutting 2-inch wide strips of all 3 fabrics. The 2-inch strips are going to be used for the borders, and then once those are cut, we're going to move on to the strips that we use for the blocks. They will be measured out at 1 7/8 inches. For the fabric that you use for your inner border, you're going to need 2 strips of the 2-inch fabric, and for the middle and outer borders, you're going to need 3 strips of 2-inch fabric. Now these are the width of fabric. Once those are cut, go ahead and set them aside, and then we'll cut the strips for the blocks. The blocks are going to be made up of, as you can see from the picture and the pattern, they're going to be made up of all 3 colors, and they're all going to be equally the same size. They're going to be 1 7/8 inch strips. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut the strips and we're going to stitch them lengthwise and simply cut our squares after that. So all you need is 2 width of fabric strips of each fabric that are 1 7/8 inches. Now I'm not left-handed, so when I cut my fabric this way, I like to line it up using my ruler. As you can see, I've got the edge of the fabric on my markers. I'll just come around to the other side of the table and cut it from here. Now keep in mind that I'm cutting all 3 fabrics at a time. Okay, so I've got 6 layers of fabric here. Set those ones aside and then repeat. Now, as you can see, I've got a lot of this fabric here, but I have another project that I'm going to be working on for you guys soon, and you'll see what I'm going to be using the extra for. So once you've cut all your strips, it's time to decide what kind of layout you want. As in, you need to decide what will be your inner, your middle, and your outer border, because you will have to cut those differently. Now for me, I'm going to have the dark on the outside, I'm going to have the wood grain in between, and I'm going to have the pumpkins as the center. So that's what I'm going to use. So this is going to be my inner, and from this I'm going to cut 2 11.5 inch strips, and I'm going to cut 2 27.5 inch strips. Follow the middle cuts for this and the outer cuts for this one. Now I will point out that when you're cutting your strips for the middle border and the outer border, you're going to want to take 1 strip and cut both of your shorter pieces. So in this case, I'm working on the outer border. I'm going to cut 2 17.5 inch strips from this one because of course I can't get a 33.5 and a 17.5 out of 1 strip. So this one is just going to be 2 of the shorter ones. And these are the strips. So these are the width of fabric strips that we cut. And again, you're going to lay them out in the pattern that you want. I like to have the wood grain in the center because it sort of breaks it up. So we're going to press them. You can trim the selvage off now if you want, or you can wait until you've sewn your layers together. But all we're going to do is we're going to open these up. We're going to stitch them. We'll start with this one. We're going to go right sides together. We're going to flip that open. We're going to put this one right sides together, and then we'll flip it open and press. Once we've sewn our strips together like this, it is time to make our squares in order to create our blocks. So as you can see, these are 4.5 inch wide, and we're just going to make them square. So start by trimming off your ends in 4.5 inch squares. You're going to need 12 of these squares all together to make your blocks. There will be 4 in each of the 3 blocks. So I'll finish cutting the rest of these in a minute, and I'll just show you what we're going to do. So now we have these 4, and we're going to twist and turn them any way we like. So if you want the blues to all line up this way, you could have them this way. You could put those this way. You could flip them around any way you like. Once you find a pattern that you like, you're going to stitch these sides together and these sides together, and then we're going to open it up and stitch across the middle. Once you've gone through and squared up your blocks, it is time to attach them with the sashing. So all we're going to do, in this case I've chosen to use the wood grain. All we're going to do is right sides together here. We're going to press it open, and then we're going to stitch it that way, and we're going to repeat it for all 3 blocks. Once you've attached your sashing in between your blocks and you've pressed your seams, it's now time to start building the borders. So we're going to start with, of course, our inner border. And if you'll remember, I chose this print. So this is my first border. Now the way this is set up is that you're going to attach these sides first, and then you'll attach these ends. And then you'll move on to your next border. And then once you have all your borders built out, we'll come back and finish. At this point, you can choose how you would like to finish your runner. You could do a traditional finish in which you layer your backing, your batting, and your quilt top, do your quilting, and then do a binding. So for this one, because it is sort of well suited for the dining room, I like to use Insulbright batting because it is heat resistant. And that way, when I set my holiday table with this particular runner, I'm okay to put a hot dish on it as well. So go ahead and finish it however you choose, and I'll be right back with my finished version. And there you have it, our fun, easy, quick brick path table runner. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial from our little handmade home. And if you're excited to start making your own project or look for even more creative ideas, pop on over to ourlittlehandmadehome.com and download your free pattern today. If you're looking for a more detailed pattern, be sure to visit my shop where you can find not only the brick path table runner, but a few other patterns as well. Thanks again for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next week with a whole new project.